evening. Welcome to September 24th, 2018 Board of Trustees meeting. Before tonight's meeting commences, I'd like everybody to stand for a moment of silence, remembering all the brave men and women who served this great nation of ours, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
That's what she said.
Thank you. First up on the agenda is roll call attendance.
Camilleri here, Russ here, Joliet here, Thomas
Here. Here. Okay, next up, we have to approve the agenda for tonight, September 24th, 2018.
Before we approve the agenda, I would like to amend it. The citizen to address the board called today, and she's unable to make the meeting, so I would like to remove from new business 6.5. I'll support.
Any further discussion on that? All in favor, raise your, no, this is the, no, all in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed? Okay, now I need a motion to approve the amended agenda.
Make a motion to approve the amendment.
One more vote. Any further discussion on that? All in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed? There are none. Okay. Under announcements, the Walking Shoe Street Art Exhibition is open through September 30th, 2018. Wooden shoes will be on display exhibited in the trees on the Riverwalk and behind Buffalo Wild Wings by Crescent Lake Road 59. The Knights of Columbus Council 13600 will be soliciting funds October 5th through October 7th from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. at Crescent Lake Road and Airport Road near the M59 intersection. Waterford Township offices will be closed on Monday, October 8th, 2018 in observance of the Columbus Day holiday. As always, emergency services will remain available during this administrative closure. The Board of Trustees' regularly scheduled meetings for that night, Monday, October 8th, will be moved to Tuesday, October 9th, 6 p.m. right here at the auditorium. Join us for Waterford's 32nd annual Harvest Happening event, Sunday, October 7th, from noon to 5 p.m. at Hathaway Park. Free admission, donations accepted at the gate. Bring the whole family to celebrate the beginning of fall. The event features entertainment, hay rides, inflatables, crafters, concessions, historic house tours, pony rides, pumpkin patch, children's attractions, games, and much, much more. For more information, visit www.waterfordmi.gov/parks in the special events section. The last day to register to vote in this year's November 6th general election is Tuesday, October 9th, 2018. Verify your voter registration at www.michigan.gov/vote. For more information, visit www.waterfordmi.gov/clerk or call 448-674-6266. Waterford Regional Fire Department is holding its annual Fire Prevention Week open house on Saturday, October 13th, 2018 from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. right at Fire Station Headquarters, Station 1, 2495 Crescent Lake Road at the corner of Crescent Lake and Hatch. The event is always family friendly, free and open to the public, featuring a fire safety house, fire prevention education, vehicle eradication demonstration, vehicle extrication, demolition, demonstration, fire truck and station tours and more. Polling locations consolidated in February 2018 and new voter identification cards were mailed to every registered voter in the township. Please verify your polling location before the November 6, 2018 general election. For precinct location, sample ballots, and answers to the most frequently asked questions, visit the Waterford Township Clerk's website or the Secretary of State's website. For more information, please call 248-674-6266. This next thing was added to the agenda because it didn't happen until this past Saturday, September 22nd. The annual Walk and Roll Meals on Wheels fundraiser at the Waterford Township Senior Center took place at 10 a.m. Now, this year's event, at the end of the ceremony, they made some interesting announcements, and I want to update everybody on. The program, the Meals on Wheels program, serves 1,365 people meals a week. 1,365 meals a week. That's almost 71,000 meals they serve a year. That adds up between 13,000 to 15,000 volunteer hours each year. There's Thanksgiving dinner, Christmas dinner, New Year's Day dinner, and on those very days, a vast majority of the volunteers volunteer to show up and work those days too. The 2018 Walk and Roll Meals on Wheels raised a net near $30,000 for the Waterford Senior Center, and there was an additional $5,000 donated in food and prizes for the day of the event. Some of the local donor restaurants were Buffalo Wild Wings, Jerry's Coney, Great Lakes Family Restaurant, Jersey Mike's, Tubby Sub on Elizabeth Lake Road, Firehouse Subs, Hungry Howie's in M59, Lucky Duck Pizza, Pizza Hut in M59, and Beach Marketplace. So once again, this speaks volumes of the generosity of the people who reside in Waterford Township. They raised over $30,000 in one day and had another $5,000 donated in food and gifts. So let's give it up for us one time. Next up, we have the consent agenda. Is there anything on the consent agenda anybody would like removed before I read it? Okay, September 10, 2018 meeting minutes. Today's September 24, 2018 bill payment. Cable Department's August 2018 report. Clerk's Office first and second quarter licensing reports. DPW's August 2018 report. Fire Department's August 2018 report. IT Department's June and July 2018 reports. Treasurer's Office August 2018 report. Fireworks display application. Walk permit request for the Waterford area crop walk. And a banner request for the River Church.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Any further discussion on this? It involves bill payments. Roll call.
Camilleri, yes. Wall?
Yes.
Thomas?
Yes.
Bardwell?
Yes.
Frasca?
Yes.
Joliet?
Yes.
Next up, we have the board liaison reports. Tony, you want to take it up?
Say one issue, last Thursday night, Eagle Lake Board, met, we did a 3-year budget. We had to say that they were announced budget, we did want to go into the rainy day fund.
Okay. Steve?
Nothing to report.
Okay. I have nothing either. Sue?
Yes, the library is, now the summer's over, back in action, and they are with the poetry leagues for 2019. They're going to change the format a little bit. You can stand by, and in the next few months, you'll hear the details of the 2019 poetry leagues.
Good. So go to work on your poems right now so you can enter them in the competition next year. KJ?
I had a zoning board of appeals meeting followed by a Drayton Plains Nature Center meeting, and I'm happy to report the hayride is coming back this year at the Drayton Plains Nature Center on October 20th.
Art?
Just want to mention again the harvest happening on October 7th at Hess Hathaway Park from 2 to 5.
Okay, good. That's a fun-filled event for families. If you've never been there, make this your first year, I guarantee you'll always go back if you don't have a full schedule. Okay, next up, under old business, public hearing for special assessment district levy. We'll open the public hearing at 6:11 p.m.
Derek, did you put something on the desktop here?
No, I didn't.
Oh, that's why I can't find it. Thank you.
Want me to bring it up?
This is why I monitor technology all the time. It doesn't work.
Thank you.
Okay. The purpose of tonight's meeting is to hear objections from the public to the distribution of the SAD levy of 2.95 mils. Okay, the distribution of the police and fire special assessment district levy. So, Waterford has created a new fund, the 210 fund, to track revenues and show the annual distributions to the police, 207 fund, and fire 206 funds, respectively. Now, the numbers you're looking at up here, the bottom line number is different than what was originally proposed, and I want to walk you through this real quick so there's no confusion. In March of this year, when we originally did the assessment of what that would be, it came up to $6,032,094. Okay. In late August, it was adjusted down for the removal of personal property tax. That corrected the number at $6,024,610. Going into budget, working with the budget people, we never collect 100% of the property taxes in Waterford Township. Between the tax tribunal, appeals, adjustment of taxes, over the last 3 years, it worked out to 99.5% of the taxes collected. So we took the number of $6,024,610 times 99.5%, and the grand total police and fire SAD distribution will now be $5,994,487. So that's where the number comes from. And you get across the bottom line, it shows you that might be a little hard to read, but it shows you how that's taken 2.95 mils, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Real property divided by 1,000 equals that, times 99.5%. But that's, you're seeing three different numbers, and you just wanted to clarify. The initial number we got from assessing, the adjusted number for personal property tax, times 99.5%. So that's where we're at with that. So that shows a distribution of $3,450,000 to the fire, and that's 57.6% of it, and then that's $2,544,487 to police, which is 42.4% of the $5,994,487. Is there anybody from the public who'd like to come up and speak? Okay, anybody on the board have any comments they would like to make?
I'd like to ask Attorney Dozier a question. On this resolution, should the number for personnel be on this? It just says for the top one for fire, $755,613. And for personnel operation maintenance, at 2.694 number. Should that be on the resolution that we're gonna?
That level of detail does not need to be in the resolution. The resolution is drafted, covers what was in the ballot proposal. I mean, first of all, it indicates how much is being distributed to each department. And within each of those distributions, the amount towards equipment is indicated. If you recall, the ballot proposal committed a minimum amount of the levy to equipment.
Okay. My question was just, I didn't know if personnel should have been applied to each department, fire and police.
Originally, at the September 10th board meeting, all those numbers were in the initial meeting about the SAD when we determined how much we were going to levy, all 2.95 mils. All those numbers were presented that night, and that was part of that presentation. Again, the purpose of tonight is, like I said, to the public to comment on it. Like I said, the numbers were already presented, they're out there. So like I said, this is just showing the adjusted distribution because of the number we took it back to. So we adjusted those numbers very little. So that's why we showed the distribution of these funds. But that number that we're talking about in the resolution, that is mandated that money has to be used. That's a minimal amount of money that has to be used for police and fire vehicles. We can never use less than that. So that's what that's for. That's the one number, the 0.425 mils, part of that has to be. So that's what we have to show that.
And the level of detail here is not as great as it was at the August 27th hearing, and it did not need to be. This is a much more limited hearing. It is simply to hear objections to the proposed distribution, and I provided the opinion that indicating the distribution to the two departments as part of the supervisor's proposed budget, the board approved budget would be sufficient.
I do have a letter from a resident who could not attend the meeting tonight, but she did want her opinion read into the record. This is from Janet C. Burke, 2128 Glenshire Lane, Waterford Township, regarding the Waterford Township Special Assessment District for Police and Fire, 24 September 2018 public hearing during the Board of Trustees meeting. And the letter reads, I live at 2128 Glenshire Lane, which I co-own with my husband, Daniel Blatter. I was present with my husband at the Board of Trustee meeting on the 27th of August 2018 at Township Hall. During the public discussion, I addressed the Township Board of Trustees and stated my objection to the creation of a special assessment district for police and fire and the proposed amount of the assessment. I'm unable to attend the 24 September 2018 public hearing at the Board of Trustees meeting, and I ask that you accept this letter as part of the record. That again, I object to the creation of a special assessment district for police and fire and the proposed amount of the assessment.
Is there anybody else? Is there anything else you want to add?
Okay, resolution to distribute police.
Hold on, this young lady. Come on down to the front, please. Ma'am, so you know public comment is limited to 3 minutes.
Okay. My name's Laura Conitz, lived here 100 years. Is there some place that we can look up online as to the distribution of these funds? Is it the pension? Is it how much is going to the health insurance? Not that I don't feel they deserve it, but I'd like more than a lump sum. Is there a place to look up these things?
Yeah, well, like I said, the 401k pension for current new hires and health insurance is factored into the cost of their wages. This doesn't go into the unfunded liability, doesn't go into the unfunded liability for pension or for health insurance. That's not part of the SAD. This is for current, what we're doing, this is for the current hiring of 9 police officers, 5 firefighter paramedics, buying new equipment, and just recently, since that last meeting, we've had another fire truck taken out of commission. And unfortunately, it was our newest fire truck that went down. That's our 2002 fire truck, newest past purchase fire truck that went down. It's out of commission. No longer uses it. A large hole in the frame. It's not safe. So to send that out to auction, it's basically gonna be scrap metal, it's not gonna be worth anything because it's wore out, but that's, no, yeah, and again, we have the funds, are they on the website?
I believe that information is on the website. If you go to the township's homepage,
And
waterfordmi.gov.
I didn't see it, that's what I was asking, I thought if I didn't see it, possibly others didn't either.
There is a page that has all the information.
And I assume that the money we charge Pontiac for their firefighting services is already subtracted out, and somewhere there's a balance sheet that shows all these things.
Yeah, the money that Pontiac pays Waterford for their fire service is completely covered by the contract amount that Pontiac pays to Waterford. This special.
Depreciation on the vehicles, wear and tear, all those things.
There's money set aside in an account every year. Money goes in there for equipment purchase for Pontiac.
Okay, and again, to clarify some of the things that are online that we don't know are factual, there's something about the police department purchasing 6 Harley Davidsons. And in Michigan, how functional is that?
Well, the police department currently has 6 Harley Davidson motorcycles, okay, that were leased, okay, long before I got here, long before the current police chief got here.
What do you use those for?
I see officers out writing tickets on them in the summertime, and again, they were here before I got here, so I don't know. The opportunity is there for us to purchase those.
Oh,
Yeah, they just recently had, the ABC Harley Davidson recently changed ownership, and I believe, I could be wrong, but I think the previous owner sold it to his nephew, I believe. It's in a family, but, you know, when the nephew took over, he made that proposal to, I think, the Waterford Police Chief, but I said, that's not, you know, that's not anything we're gonna buy tonight, and like I said, it's not gonna be purchased with these funds. It was $108,000 right there, I showed them the number that we showed earlier, and that's for 3 police cars. So,
okay. Well, that makes a lot more sense than Harleys where we got 3 months you can use them.
well, let's say 6. We only had snow on the ground 6 months. Winter's a 3-month holiday, but or a 3-month season, but figured it was snow on the ground 6 months last year. So
Yeah.
accumulated the snowfall in 6 different months. So, you know, but all it's so.
Okay, well, I'll try and find the info. Thank you.
You know, we were just looking, trying to find it for you, and you can't find it either. I will make sure that it's available.
Good.
on the
Yeah, I think
website.
it'll clarify a lot for us.
Yes.
Okay.
Good job.
Do I have to wait till, are we gonna bring up the one garbage contractor?
That's late, yeah, it's
It's not
it's open public comment at the end of the meeting, you know?
Okay.
Good job.
Darrell, 4012 Sawyer. How much do we pay on lease for those motorcycles?
Chief Underwood can answer that.
It was my understanding some years ago we paid like $1 a year.
Right?
So we're in the public hearing for the special assessment. Could you hold off on this? This is really outside of the
Okay, I'm sorry
public
about that.
hearings that we are.
Yeah.
I can clear this out real quick.
If you want to just answer that one quick question, then we'll stick with the public hearing.
In 2013, Waterford Township Police Department leased 6 Harley Davidson motorcycles at a cost of $2,200 a piece per year. So $13,200 per year for 6 motorcycles. 2 years ago, that lease expired, and we negotiated with the Harley dealer to be able to keep those 6 bikes at a cost of $8,800 for all 6 of them. So we were saving money on the lease, on a year-to-year lease. Recently, the Harley dealer has been sold. They did make an offer to us. We negotiated with them to buy those bikes as opposed to continue to lease. Those bikes are not available to lease anymore. We have to go out and try and lease new bikes at a much increased cost. So we negotiated with them, and we are in the process of putting together a package to buy those bikes. The cost is $9,500 per bike. The going rate on the market for those Harley Davidsons is anywhere between $12,000 and $13,000 a piece. The program that we would bring to the board for approval would be an opportunity to purchase those bikes. We would use drug forfeiture money to purchase those bikes. We would drive those bikes for probably another 3 or 4 years. They're in great shape, they're low mileage, they're very well taken care of. And we would be able to use those bikes for another 3 or 4 years, sell them at the end of 3 or 4 years, take that drug forfeiture money and put it right back into the fund. So in essence, we'd be able to drive those bikes for another 3 or 4 years for free, and at the tail end, we may even realize a profit. So that's the plan going forward. We haven't brought that proposal to the board yet. We anticipate that we will in the next month or so, and that's the plan going forward. The gentleman who just spoke is not incorrect. Previously, Harley-Davidson did have programs where they would lease bikes to police agencies for minimal amounts, $1, $10, $100 for the year. A lot of agencies took advantage of that. If we were able to, we certainly would. Back then, they would take those bikes after the lease was up and they would put them on the market and sell them. Those $1, $10, $100 leases are no longer available. The pricing is much increased. So even for the $800 that we spent per year over the last 2 years, if we were going to lease those bikes, we would look to spend far more than that, which is not something we'd be in a position to do.
And you said that was with the drug and forfeiture funds, correct?
Yeah, we wouldn't look to use any taxpayer money to do that. Like I said, even using that money, we would expect it 2 or 3 years down the road with the going rate of those bikes, we'd be able to put that money right back into the account and actually probably realize a profit.
Okay, and that is, so people understand that is restricted use funds. You just can't go out and spend that wherever you want
The
it.
drug forfeiture, there's guidelines of how that money has to be used and what it can be used for, and that certainly would be one of the permissible uses for that money. So I hope that clears up any confusion.
Thank you, Chief. Okay, is there anybody else has anything you want to talk about as far as the SAD? Yes, sir.
Yes, Gary Byron, 717 Temporary Trail, Water from Michigan, resident, 67 years. I wasn't there at the last meeting when you explained everything about the special assessment, but I thought that special assessment was set up for replacement of equipment, buying new equipment. I noticed the fire was only like $775,000, police was $105,000.
That's the minimum amount of money that you
Minimum.
Minimum.
Okay.
You have to spend, that's a 4.425 mils.
Yep.
It has to be spent on vehicle replacement, vehicle and equipment replacement. It has to be spent. We can't spend, you can spend more than that. And this year we're going to spend $1.3 million on fire equipment. I think $1.318 million on fire equipment.
And how old was the newest truck that we just scrapped out?
16 years, we got that for 2002.
Yes, yeah, I saw, full amount, and it said for personnel, et cetera, so that money's gonna be paying for the new officers and new fire people that we bring on board, and for at least equipment with a minimum of that amount, if not more.
Yep.
Right, and if we don't spend that whole pocket of money on equipment and or people, what do we do with the
We got the first year we do have it allocated because there's a lot of, like I said, I just went through the minutes of daily. We had an inordinate amount of money spent on fire trucks this last month repairing them. So until we get past the curve, what we don't want to do is buy a bunch of fire equipment in 1 year, and then I'll be long gone from the township board, and I can tell you I may still be alive, but then all of a sudden we have 5 or 6 vehicles wear out the same year again. 15, 16 years down the road, the next township board or 3 township boards now are facing the same problem. So we want at the front, we want to jump on and get some new vehicles on the road and get them running. And then as time goes on, buy 1 fire truck and 1 EMS rig a year. And then you should go down, and then they start wearing out. You're only replacing 1 of each as time goes on. But it was bad economy, low finances, low funding, low revenue, whatever you want to call it. The money just wasn't there to do it. So again, that's why we had to go to the taxpayers and ask them for an SAD. And like I said, but we had to come up. So that down the road, if we decide to say, okay, we load up on fire truck stuff, we only need 1 that and 3 police cars a year, we come back to SAD also.
Okay.
We don't have to charge you 2.95 mils as time goes on. But then again, like I said, as time goes on, you have to spend that amount of money. It has to be set aside. We're gone, it doesn't matter. It's in the ordinance. It has to be set aside, period.
That was my question, if you're buying the equipment and it's doing good, we don't need as much this year, can charge less on the SAD.
Yes, you can, and every year you have to revisit it. You have to be revisited every year and go to the numbers again. Like I said, at the front end, the first 2 or 3 years, you want to buy equipment. I say get it up and try and get past that curve, get rid of the worn out stuff, and then, there's no guarantee the Pontiac contract's gonna renew, and the Pontiac end of it down there, you know what I'm saying? So the money we're setting aside for Pontiac to buy, if we buy a vehicle with the money set aside for Pontiac, that's Waterford's fire truck. It doesn't go back to Pontiac. Yeah, the contract goes away. We own that fire truck. That's part of the contract we have with them. That's our fire truck, paid for by them. So,
Thank you very much.
you're welcome, sir.
Sir, just to make one more comment, part of the SAD goes to capital improvements to repairing roofs or buildings, stuff like that. But just not for personnel, equipment.
Yep. Yep.
Thank you.
Parking lots, driveways, buildings, windows, HVAC, plumbing, things that just wear out over
I
time.
saw that in their maintenance, I took that,
Yep.
their maintenance for all that.
And again, like I said, the new fire station is built in what, 99
Years.
Yeah.
The buyers just paid off.
Fine, just paid off. They said, the new fire station, they said the roof is in need of $100,000 of maintenance. And unfortunately, not just in government and big buildings, nothing's inexpensive.
Understand, yeah, so does my roof need replacing too, so.
Yep.
Gotta give a special assessment for that.
I would say talk to the voters in your house.
There you go.
See how they vote. Okay, is there anybody else? Okay. Yep.
Resolution to distribute police and fire department special assessment levy. State of Michigan Public Act number 33 of 1951 as amended allows townships to raise money for police and fire departments by special assessment, provides for township boards to submit the question of doing so to the voters at an election, and upon voter approval and after a hearing required by the act, allows the township board to create and establish the boundaries of the special assessment district and determine the amount of the special assessment to be levied. On August 7, 2018, the voters approved a ballot proposal authorizing the township to levy an annual special assessment on the taxable value of all real property in the township that is not exempt from property taxes of up to 2.95 mils. And on August 27, 2018, the Township Board of Trustees adopted a resolution to levy all of that authorized rate on the December 2018 tax bills for the 2019 calendar budget year. On September 24th, after holding a public hearing on the objections to the distribution of the special assessment levy, the Township Board of Trustees determined to adopt this resolution approving the proposed distribution of the special assessment levy that was on file with the Township Clerk's Office for the public hearing. It is therefore resolved that the Police and Fire Department special assessment is to be levied on the December 28 tax bill shall be distributed as follows, with the supervisor's proposed and the Township Board approved budget for the 2019 calendar budget year to be consistent with this distribution. $3,450,000 shall be distributed to the fire department, with $755,613 of that amount to be for capital improvement. $2,544,487 shall be distributed to the police department, with $108,000 of that amount to be for capital and equipment. So,
Okay. Closed. Public hearing at 6:13.
I'll make a motion to adopt a resolution to distribute police and fire department special assessment levy.
Any further discussion on that? Okay. Roll call.
Frasca,
Yes.
Bartolet,
Yes.
Joliet,
Yes.
Thomas,
Yes.
Wall,
Yes.
Cavallari, yes.
Under new business, hazardous mitigation resolution. Chief, how are you tonight?
I'm well.
You have a resolution before you, is that correct? If you don't mind, I'd like to just read a brief statement. The hazard mitigation plan is created by Oakland County with assistance from the local municipalities in determining needs, possible hazards within each community. Contained in the hazard mitigation plan is the general information for county schools, for Oakland County, for the schools, and community-specific information. Looks like they prepared one in 2005, and updated 2012, and this latest one, 2017 is when they started. Of course, we're in 18, and it just takes a while to get everything going together. All 62 communities and 28 school districts in Oakland County participated in this process are included in the plan. The plan is over 750 pages, which I will read all 750 down. No, I will not. I'm just going to address the Waterford here. This plan addresses the hazards relative to lakes and streams and the Clinton River, the possibility of flooding and hazardous materials releases in those bodies of water. The Oakland County International Airport obviously has high hazard possibilities. M59 and Dixie Highway corridors with hazmat transports and the industrial facilities that are present on those roads. 6 miles of the CN Railroad, hazmat transports again, and the possibility of train derailments. The water treatment facilities and the groundwater wells, hazmat incidents, as well as possible terror threats. And then lastly, the Buckeye Pipeline, and they're considering there obviously is a hazardous materials release in Waterford Township. The mitigation strategies identified with this plan address flooding concerns as needed, maintain and upgrade hazardous hazmat team equipment, training for first responders specific to the hazards in Waterford, maintaining mutual aid agreements for emergencies in Waterford, security systems for Waterford infrastructure, including water and sewer facilities, and security systems for public safety facilities. This plan is necessary as a disaster can strike at any time, and federal assistance may be limited if we do not have a plan like this in effect. I want to make a note that this plan can be amended at any time while it is in effect by the township. I ask that the board approve this hazard mitigation plan as written and supported by Oakland County. I did meet with Supervisor Wall and Tom Hardesty from Oakland County Homeland Security to better understand exactly what this plan is all about specific to Waterford. And I think Gary got a good education. I know I did. Yep. Very good.
And again, like you said, if you don't belong to federal funding, forget about it. It's out. I mean, it's just, well, the odds of getting there like swimming now.
Correct.
And again, like I said, of course, you're just, we're looking at a natural disaster right now. It's out for the hurricanes, and it just, you never know what's going to happen. You hope for the best, but prepare for the worst. And then if it does happen, then we're prepared in faster response time. And like I said, there's time restrictions and a lot of that stuff. You have to get it done and file for it within a certain period of time to qualify for the funding too.
Correct. Thank you.
Yep. Anybody have any questions for Chief? Thanks, John. Okay.
So this is the resolution we have before us. The adoption of the Oakland County Hazardous Mitigation Plan. Whereas the mission of the Charter Township of Waterford includes the charge to protect the health, safety, and general welfare of the people of Waterford. And whereas Waterford, Michigan is subject to flooding, tornadoes, winter storms, and other natural, technological, and human hazards. And whereas the Oakland County Homeland Security Division and the Oakland County Local Emergency Planning Committee, comprised of representatives from the county, municipalities, and stakeholder organizations, have prepared a recommended hazard mitigation plan that reviews the options to protect people and reduce damage from these hazards. And whereas Waterford Township has participated in the planning process for the development of this plan, providing information specific to local hazard priorities, encouraging public participation, identifying desired hazard mitigation strategies, and reviewing the draft plan. And whereas the Oakland County Homeland Security Division with the Oakland County Local Emergency Planning Committee has developed the Oakland County Hazard Mitigation Plan as an official document of the county, and establishing a County Hazard Mitigation Coordinating Committee pursuant to the Disaster Mitigation Act of 2002 and associated regulations. And whereas the plan has been widely circulated for review by the county residents, municipal office officials, and state, federal, and local review agencies, and has been revised to reflect their concerns. Now therefore be it resolved by the Charter Township of Waterford Board of Trustees that the Oakland County Hazard Mitigation Plan, or sections of the plan specific to Waterford, is hereby adopted as an official plan of Waterford Township. The fire chief is charged with supervising the implementation of the plan's recommendations as they pertain to Waterford Township, and within the funding limitations as provided by the Charter Township Board of Trustees or other sources.
Okay, any further comment on that?
I'll make a motion that we adopt the hazard mitigation resolution as presented.
Okay, any further comment? Roll call vote?
Camilleri, yes. Wall.
Yes.
Frasca.
Yes.
Barbato.
Yes.
Joliet.
Yes.
Thomas.
Yes. Okay, next up is the 2018 sidewalk repairs.
Sections of the plan specific.
I'm recommending that in paragraph 1 of the resolved paragraph, the word "or" be changed to the words specifically including.
Including sections of the plan specific to. I will, what am I doing?
Move to reconsider the vote on the resolution.
I move to reconsider the vote on the resolution.
That may not be seconded, and you can vote on
I'll
it.
support.
Thank you.
You specify the resolution,
Does this, on a reconsideration, need to be a roll call vote?
No.
So we have a motion and a second to reconsider the vote.
Okay, is that good?
Just vote on that motion. If you vote on that motion,
Yep. Okay, all in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed, or none?
okay, now what would be in order would be a motion to approve, to amend the approved resolution, paragraph 1, changing the word "or" to specifically including, striking the word "are," so it says "is hereby adopted."
So I will make a motion to amend
The approved resolution.
the approved resolution, changing in the last paragraph, the word "of" to
The word "or."
the word "or" to specifically including. Strike the word.
That's it.
Okay, we got a motion.
Any further discussion on that? Okay, all in favor, raise your right hand. people lining up to speak. If you want to line up in the hallway or the aisleway, raise your hand. Walk up. There may be somebody ahead of you that's already had their hand up. So if you want to come up and speak, raise your hand. And again, public comment will be limited to 3 minutes. So. Yes, sir.
As a sponsor of our organization, I'd like to let you know that our annual meeting will be held on October 24th. Invitations were mailed out last Thursday. I think you should have gotten them, but here they are. Unlike last year's meeting, which ran really long, I promised to be short and brief in my comments this year. And we've designed the event to start right at 1:45 and those that show up after 1:45 can just get in line with everybody else to eat, and that way we can start our program about 12:15 as planned. I'd also like to report to you that finally, after a couple of years, we filled our vacant vice presidency position on our board. Megan Dennis has agreed to join us. She's been very active in the Waterford community, and we are very happy to have her on board. And finally, the Mentors Plus program had its annual fall picnic on the 15th at the Elks Club. For the first time in 5 years, it did not rain on the day of the event, so we were very happy for that. We had a lot of fun. There are some sponsors I'd like to thank that donated money and time to the event. Meyer, Kroger, Costco, Sam's Club, Genesis Credit Union, Oakland County Credit Union, all donated to our cause, and we're very grateful for all that. The Elks Club always donates the pavilion. Their second-degree team helps us cook the food and keep everybody in line. And the ladies of Elks Club, I don't know their exact title, but they also donate money to our event. So we're very grateful. We had a lot of fun at the event, and that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Grant. Anybody else? Yes, ma'am. You're next. Yep. You want to pull the mic in so the people know.
What? I'm small?
No. The guy ahead of you is overly tall.
Okay, well, like dress, great group of people. Ma'am, you gotta have your name and address.
Oh, Mary Bourne, 6450 Andersonville Road, where we have no sidewalks. Just putting it out there. Anyway, a great many of the people behind me are here because of the single trash removal that is going to be imposed on us without vote or choice. And I oppose that. If it was paid under taxes, I can understand that. But since we have to pay as individuals, I feel that that's unlawful, that I should have the ability to choose, and that there should be several people out there offering this service, and that we can choose from that. Just saying.
Good evening, I'm Shawnee Brissette. I live at 3830 Athens Avenue.
Can't hear her.
I'm basically just exactly what she just said. I'm totally against it. I'm opposed to it. I really like the service that my garbage people provide to me, which is TNR. Just saying. I think that we should have the right to vote, and I would like to know if and when we can have the right to vote. Just wanted to voice my opinion. I'm totally against the one garbage people. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Yes, ma'am.
Go TNR.
You're next.
Okay.
Once again, I'm Lori, lived here 100 years. My first question is, what is the logic behind going with one instead of having a choice?
Okay, typically this is public comment, not Q&A. Oh, Q&A, you just, before this happens, we will hold a town hall.
Okay,
People will come in and voice their opinion.
all right.
Okay.
Well, this is why I'm opposed. My garbage man has not missed a day of work in 32 years. What about all these little people? It's about competition, it's about small business. We're supposed to put this man out of work, 10 years short of retirement, like people that work for GM and Ford and Chrysler were forced out. This affects our entire economy, and I don't like not having a choice. That's dangerous territory when we get things imposed on us with no choice.
Could I have your last name?
Comments?
My name's Ray Sawyer, address 4329 Lowella. I have the same opinion. I think we should have the right to pick our own garbage. And it causes the price of the garbage. Other haulers like BFI, Waste Management, a lot of them do not pick up leaves and everything else. That's my opinion.
Okay, thank you, sir. You're next.
I just want to let you know that we're not in North Korea. We have a right to choose who we want to pick up our garbage, and I choose TNR. My name is Connie Doyen, 2554. And Waste Management is such a big company, they can't even put mufflers on their trucks. So don't think
You're after her?
Yeah.
Did you come after her? Okay. You're on double deck.
My name is Denise O'Dowd. I'm at 2763 Riverside Drive. I just moved to Waterford, coming from Commerce, where I didn't have a choice. I have a large yard, have lots of yard waste, leaves and stuff like that. In Commerce, they would never pick it up. I love my TNR. I don't want to go with Waste Management. I don't want to go with any of the bigger ones. They would not serve my needs. TNR has been great to me since I've been here. I'm opposed to you picking one single carrier.
Hello, I'm Marge Hagerman. I live at 2435 Newberry Road, Clintonville. I also have TNR. Just recently, I asked for an extra large pickup, and they were willing to come and do that at no extra cost. And I lost my husband a year ago and lost $1,000 income. I cannot afford any of the larger companies. I left them, one of the larger companies because they were charging me almost $100 a month or every 3 months. And I've dropped down to $60 every 3 months. And it's more than I can afford as a senior. And it also takes away from my other bills if I have to pay higher prices. And they are an excellent company. They came on a special pickup on one day. They took a couch and 2 TVs and did not charge me anything extra for it. And I only put 1 small bag a week out, and if I put 5 or 6, they accept them at no extra charge. Yeah, I'm Karen Square. I live at 3327 Mine Run in Waterford. And I can't afford the price of Waste Management stuff. I'm with TNR. They're an excellent company, and I think we deserve the right to choose who we want.
Ouch.
Be patient, I get that. Good evening. My name, Raymond Gomez, 675 South Winding Drive, Waterford, Michigan. And I'm here as well with TNR. I'm a small business myself. And what came me to them, because I've been with waste management, the GFL, the price is too high. We have a choice to pick who we want to service. So far, they do a really personal. So they probably know, we don't know them personally, but if you have any needs, they come and take care of it. Or they return your phone call when you receive a letter from them. Like the largest companies, I understand they don't have that because they have to take care of bigger customers. More money, but I support TNR because so far they've been grateful. With me, I have any issues, they come, pick it up, no problem, I call them, they respond by letter. And we need to have the choice to pick who we want, especially in our community, and give them the chance to grow. And they're doing so far as I'm hearing, they're doing excellent. Not only in my area, but in most of the areas, so I would like the choice to go to who we want. Thank you.
Ma'am, come on up, you're on deck, Gary. Okay.
Yes, my name is Pamela Woodruff. I live on Sinclair Avenue in Waterford. I've lived in Waterford for 45 years. I've probably had at least 4 different garbage disposal companies throughout 45 years. I have one until I feel like their prices have gone up too much, and then I call around, I get another one. Keep that one for 5 or 8 years. If the price goes up too much, I can call someone else. I have a smaller company right now. It is not TNR, but I'm extremely happy with them. I've had them for probably 8 years. I don't want to have a single hauler. I realize that there's probably an issue with roads and how many trucks, these heavy trucks are going down our roads. I think that there might be an issue that they've been thinking of, and that's why they like the single hauler. I think there's other options besides single hauler. I'm thinking ideas of like 3 different choices in one zip code. Something like that, but we need a choice. We want a choice. Thank you.
Thank you.
Byron, 5717 Temporary Trail, Waterford. Again, like many of the people have spoken here, choice is a matter. I know years ago the ballot was a ballot in Waterford to go with one carrier, and the prices were out there, and they were higher than anybody else's were. They were not giving any more services than any of the other carriers were, and I know it was voted down. I know the last time that we, or I should say, the Township of Waterford brought in a single supplier was Comcast. And what happened with them, holding some guarantees and prices going up and up and up. We couldn't get any competition in here to force prices down because we, Waterford Township, had an agreement with Comcast to be the only supplier of cable television. So, I mean, there's some history behind it by going with a single supplier, unless in the negotiations with a single supplier, there is a 15 or 20-year commitment that this is what the rate will be. It will not go up. This is what the services will be. They will guarantee this, this, and this, which will not change. Instead of just a 1 or 2 year, get them in there and they're free for all to do what they want to do. I understand the roads are a problem with all the trucks going by, but as the roads depreciate and come apart, it's not up to the township to fix them. It's up to the individual subdivisions and us, the people who live there, to pay for correcting the roads. It's not because the carriers are going to come through, and they're not responsible for paying for any of the damages that are involved, it's all going to the homeowners. But then, just like I said, my final point is just that we've done things in the past, we picked one supplier and see how it's turned out, because when you eliminate competition, you have no control over price. Thank you.
Thank you.
Litchfield Drive in Watford. And I was here at the last meeting where you were proposing to go to a one garbage hauler, and I told you then I preferred my choice. But since then, I've been watching the roads and the trucks that come by, and I happen to notice that recently they've changed the school buses coming down my road. Previously, the roads seemed to be fairly well maintained, didn't have a lot of breakup of the road. Since the school buses have come down the road, I'm seeing more and more breakup on our road. Now, that may be just due to age, but it made me think. Also, instead of going to one hauler, is it possible to put a stipulation on the weight of the trucks? That way you would avoid, I mean, you could still have the same number of trucks, but you would have less weight in those trucks. It's just a thought.
Okay.
Another way of looking at it. Can I have your name, sir?
Oh, sorry. Ernest Metzner. I live at 2945 Raymond West Road, Waterford. And I'd really like to hear the board's reasoning behind going to a single carrier. Now, what's the deal?
You're looking at me, you said the board. Yes, the board. Typically, this is not Q&A. Right. Okay, but I get a lot more complaints about the condition of our subdivision streets than I ever get on garbage haulers. A lot more complaints on the subdivision streets than I do on garbage haulers, okay? The number one, and again, well, the meeting she was talking about 4 years ago was about the condition of our subdivision streets. It was not about a single source trash hauler. Just like tonight, 2 companies set out letters, they have everybody come out and do their dirty work for them. Just like 4 years ago, we had a town hall meeting because after the bad winter of 13, 14, where we had 7 days below zero. That's 1 week in the UP, but that's a whole season here. And we had 93.6 inches of snowfall, an all-time record for Oakland County. It was a bad winter, and people were upside down about the condition of subdivision streets. So we had a town hall meeting about the condition of subdivision streets, but Smith's and the one that got in big trouble on the east side sent out letters to their customers. We had 385 people show up at that meeting, irate over their subdivision street, or about, irate about their trash hauler. I got called late off over that night. I was talking about the condition of subdivision streets, nothing to do with a single source hauler. Nothing to do with it. So the last meeting was not about a single source hauler. And I believe the last time we went on the ballot, I think it was 1998. I'm not up on my township ballot trivia, but I think it was 1998, 20 years ago. And it was a resounding, no, we don't want to go to single source hauler. Right? But again, the subdivision streets are 20 years worse condition than what they were 2 years ago. And again, this is, you have to look at the whole picture. You have to look at the whole picture. I was a small carpenter contractor, but I liked all the big carpenter contracts to be put out of business so I could compete. I guess I've been great, but I competed. From 1983 to 2005, we worked 6 days a week. For 22 years, we had enough work to work 6 days a week. So as far as putting people out of business and stuff, that's an opinion. You understand? That's an opinion, and it's a possibility, but it's not a fact. So again,
So, I guess what I don't understand, I kind of miss the lawyer. The reason that you want to go to a single hauler is it'll help the streets?
The number one cause, okay, I'm just full of engineers here. The number one cause to damage to pavement is excessive axle weight, period. Now your neighbor may get a concrete driveway, or he may get a new asphalt driveway, or he may get shingles on his house, or he may get new windows or something, but it's not. How many carriers you got on your street?
No, but houses.
But I'm just saying, that's a new roof, a new driveway, a new window, that's once every 25 or 30 years. It's not every week, 52 weeks out of the year.
Okay, in that flyer that pickup people sent around for garbage, they're saying that you want to go to a single hauler. I don't know if that's correct or not, since it's from them. But how is it going to help if you have a single hauler over many different haulers? And is that really the issue?
Go ahead.
You got one single hauler, I'm not gonna have 4 different garbage trucks in my neighborhood. That's 12 different trucks coming through my neighborhood.
Oh, so it's a matter of how many times, I got
So
you.
many times there, but then again, in my neighborhood, I see garbage out in front of people's houses 5 days a week. I'd like to see it one day and be done with it.
I understand
Reason,
now.
then the
Now I
roads are
understand.
part of it too. You know, the roads, just the traffic, well, the curious. I got 4 that come in my neighborhood.
Okay, thanks, I appreciate it.
And in this day and age, it's talked about a lot, about the carbon footprint, exhaust and fuel vehicles, right, the exhaust and fuel vehicles.
Thank you.
There's
I
a
like-
lot of different things that we hear on a regular basis. We have to represent an entire township of last count was 73,474 residents. So we have to represent the entire community and the ones that needs it.
Sir, they say this comes into play, when it goes out for bid, the small business guy, he has an option to bid it as low as anybody else. If he needs to buy more equipment, so be it, he's gotta do that, stay in business.
And there's also gonna be another meeting. I had no idea that this was going on because it wasn't on our agenda, and we are not even close to having an ordinance ready to even, that will, when it is ready, be viewed by the public. At that time, there will be a public hearing, and a lot of these questions will be answered.
Okay, well, because everybody else asked the question, I, you know, clue, why would it make a difference? Now I understand. You're having 5 different trucks come in there when you get it, well, 4 or 5. And you can have one, and it will save our subdivision streets. I guess the trade-off is if we have a choice or not, but that's something we have to think about.
Well, subdivision streets on the abutting properties are dying. That's how they're gonna get fixed. There's a very many to get fixed. So again, that's how that works.
Thank you.
You're welcome, sir. Thank you. Anybody else?
We have that statement you said about the subdivision streets.
The subdivision streets are being paved, public roads, I'm not talking condo association, but are being paved through a special assessment district to the road commission of Oakland County. And it's the abutting property owners to those streets have to pay for it. You circulate a petition, you get, typically we like to see 60%, only has to be 51. But in the past, some people back off when they see the price. So then it goes below 50%, and then it doesn't work, so. But it's the abutting property owners on those streets that have to fund it. Typically, it's a 10-year assessment year tax bill. Is there anybody else? Yes, ma'am. You're next.
Sorry, I'm short too.
No, that's good.
I'm a Legion Waterford, and I agree with everybody. TNR's been awesome. I'd hate to see the, choice to have them be taken away. They've gone above and beyond. And, with Waste Management, Smith's, Advanced, their prices just keep going up and up and up. So I just, for what it's worth, they've been phenomenal.
Okay, thank you. Yes, sir.
My name is Paul Cavallino. I'm half owner of community disposal of the garbage companies in town at this moment. And obviously, we'd like to see it remain open subscription as it is. We're currently offering service just to the northern portion of the Waterford Township, just because through our input, the township, when we came down here a year ago, and at that time, I think Gary had told my partner that they were looking at trying to limit each area to a single day. So we tried to stay on top of what we were hearing. And then more recently, I think he's talked to you and he's told him that you're looking at going towards a contracted one hauler. And that's why we're here today, because it was our understanding that you were going to be discussing it in the prior meeting. Anyways, we're here to offer an option. Our average customer is paying about $17.75 a month they can pick and choose their own services, whether they want garbage recycling, garbage compost. Anyways, we try and offer everybody what they're looking for. Try and keep our trucks fairly light. We don't have that many, so we start with empty trucks down here and keeping our weights down. But I think you could do like Independence Township has got a very active deputy that weighs you on site almost until he gets to know you, anyways. And that's the way they're addressing it up there. You don't necessarily have to contract out for garbage. So, but anyways, just want to let it be known because we're a small company. I don't see that I could fit this big, 30,000 homes. But I can give real good service to the ones I do. And had you not expressed the interest, I would be probably servicing about several thousand right now. When Smith was bought out, I gained over 3,000 customers up in the Clarkson area from their goods Reynolds customers. And I'm guessing I could have got that many down here, but just weren't willing to commit if we didn't know it would be long term. So if we hear that the issue's dead, we'll move down here and offer our services through the whole township. So thank you.
What was the name of your company again? I'm sorry.
Community disposal.
Michelle LaRue, I live at 2495 Van Road in Waterford, and I just want to say I am opposed to single hauler policies. I think we should have an opportunity to choose our services. I think we have an obligation to support our small businesses, and I'm 100% behind them. I chose not to go with the larger corporations for that very reason, and I would appreciate not being forced to go with the large hauler if I don't want to. Thank you.
My name is Elizabeth Brown, 2870 Airport Road. As far as the subdivision streets, is there any reason why subdivisions could not contract for a single hauler if they wish to reduce the number of trucks? And also, I like the idea of small businesses because the money paid to the small business stays in the community, whereas money paid to outside businesses goes out of the township.
Anybody else? Yes, sir.
James Brady, 1601 All Wyoming. Service is the biggest thing. I had waste management, I don't know how many years ago. They told me I had to buy a new garbage can because mine was too big. So service is huge to me. DNR has been awesome. Everything I put out there, I don't even have to call them for anything. I can put whatever I want out there anytime. They pick it up, no questions asked. I don't see how you guys have the right to pick and choose who you want to come in. If anything, it should be a vote. At the very minimum, it should be a vote. You guys shouldn't get to pick that. You guys work for us. You guys are all on the ballot. And, you guys need to do what we tell you to do, basically.
Anybody else? Yes, sir. You're on deck, sir. No, you're up. I figured I'd see a Lions hat on somebody tonight. They beat, who they beat?
Patriots.
I don't
Your name,
remember.
sir?
Jim Brady, I live on Pontiac Lake Road. I live across the street from River's Edge Apartments, and I get to look at their dumpster every day, so if you just see them every now and then, garbage on the street, I get to look at it every day, and nothing is ever done about that. That crap blows across in my yard, and I've made phone calls, nobody says anything, but that's not got anything to do. I think if you guys think that less garbage trucks is gonna clean up the roads and make them not break up, apparently nobody's ever heard of winter, because I think that's more problem than a truck on it. And taking away our choice, that's not good. I don't understand why the people in charge of Waterford, I think you know in your own heart that the majority of the people don't want one. I don't know why the people that's in charge of Waterford don't want garbage trucks. No, we're not doing it. The people don't want it. The people don't want it. And I never called you Hitler. I said Hitler gave all the people a common enemy. I never called you Hitler, so now I'm offended because you got offended when I said it, so.
The comment I remember is you're no different than Adolf Hitler.
No, that's wrong. That's.
I remember, I'm slipping on it, so, you know.
I said Hitler gave the people a common enemy, like bad roads. You're giving the people a common enemy, and then that's how people in charge of cities and states and everything get people to do what they want them to do.
Okay, so for that I owe an apology. I'm sorry, sir.
Acceptable.
Good evening, Supervisor Wall, members of the Township Board. I'm going to change the topic for just a minute. Jim Tedder, it's been my pleasure for nearly 4 years to serve as state representative working for the people of Waterford Township. Just want to remind everyone, monthly office hours, twice a month. I just held my Waterford office hours this morning, and sadly I was all alone. So always appreciate active and engaged citizenry, and kudos to those that are here expressing their viewpoints tonight. But those will be set this week, and anyone that's looking to participate or attend one of the upcoming sessions, they can go to my website at repjimtedder.com. They can call the office at 517-373-0615. Always eager to listen to folks that I work for and hear what's on their mind as well. I also want to give accolades to Chief Lyman. He has brought this QAP issue to my attention, the better part of a year and a half ago, or perhaps longer. And together we do have legislation pending in Lansing that would eliminate the QAP, or I like to say cut the QAP, because I do agree with the chief that it over the long haul will be detrimental to our local governments. What we're seeing right now is this shell game that's quite common when you look at federal government, where there's this limitless pot of money, which we know just lends to a greater debt and deficit. And so the state draws down that money with the hopes of getting more money back. And it was told to me just a few weeks ago, you shouldn't worry because Waterford's getting more money. And the chief explained to me, well, it's going to cost more in administrative costs and headaches to get that little bit of money back than it would be to just to pay the tax and forget about it. So I do applaud the board and the chief for fighting for what I believe is the right position on this issue. And it was with, really at the request of the Firefighters Association and some other groups who told us to hold off on moving that legislation forward. And I know we're really short on time here as we enter the end of the legislative session, but I think this is an issue that is worth continuing to fight for. And again, I applaud Chief Lyman for the emails, the phone calls, and the general updates to keep me abreast of what's going on here in the trenches. So just want to leave that with you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Is there anybody else? Yes, sir. Very
Kapowski, 3642 Baybrook Drive. I moved in Waterford in 1994. And since that time, we have received 8 different proposals about garbage pickup. And what people don't realize, when you tell them how much garbage pickup, how much it is, they don't tell you how much it is for leaves pickup either. So, I used to be with Smith's, I forgot what the name of it is now, but I pay by the year and you get a hell of a discount when you pay by the year. So I suggest we keep what we have right now. So I could fight from all trouble. That's all I got to say. Okay, thank you very much.
Yes, ma'am. Where I'm sitting, you were perfectly centered behind that pole there. I saw your hand up, yeah.
Let me know. Is this loud enough?
Really good.
Okay. Shimon Manal, 2620 Desmond. My main concern here is the future and having lost all control over our garbage and having a waste hauler that is a crook, like that Rizzo guy, or someone will be stuck with a situation that maybe you didn't choose, but by contracting it out to a single hauler, we're not going to have any control anymore. We're going to pay whatever this contractors pay. We're going to be able to do whatever we want with our refuse. I mean, whatever they want us to do. There are towns that have, there are townships that have a single hauler that cannot leave their yard waste out. But some don't do it, but are not interested in recycling. So I think our biggest concern here is we'd be losing control. It would be being taken over by someone, and any problems we had, we wouldn't have any control over them. We'd be stuck with them. And that's why we want to be able to have a choice, because we can handle our own problems that way. Save money, switch people, whatever we need to do to have the service we want. And so I just had that's my thoughts.
Is there anybody else? Yes, ma'am. You didn't use up your whole 3 minutes, did you?
Denise Oldham, 2763 Riverside Drive. Now, you explained about how the roads are replaced and that we, the citizens, have to pay an assessment when we replace our roads. So why do you tell me what goes down my road if I'm going to have to pay for it anyways? I'm going to have to pay for it, not you. And I understand that it is a great cost because it's happening to my daughter in her subdivision, but I'm going to have to pay for it, not you. So how are you telling me who I get to pay to come down my road?
Right, I'm 1 vote, you got 7 votes.
Well, I'm talking to all of you.
Right.
But you explain the process. But that's what I say. I'm going to pay for that. You just told me I'm going to pay for that and be assessed myself for my road. So I want to pay whoever wants to come down my road. I want to pay who goes down there. I think I have a right.
You do.
Thank you.
That's not how you do that. Come on up.
Stephanie Gordon on Oak Beach, Waterford. Just kind of how you were saying you see garbage every day. I see 1 truck a week because my whole subdivision has TNR.
Yes, ma'am.
Elizabeth Brown, 2870 Airport Road. I would just add a lot of the problem with the roads is just the traffic. I mean, it is getting so busy in this township now. It takes me sometimes 10 minutes to turn left out of my driveway. I'm right on Airport Road. So that is a lot of the problem too. And I don't know what you're going to be able to do about the traffic issue, but it's really getting bad, especially since the economy's better.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
Pam Woodruff from Sinclair and Waterford. I didn't make clear myself when I was here the first time, so I wanted to say it again. I think there's probably about 9 or 12 different haulers. I think there's 3 different zip codes in Waterford. Why can't we take 3 different haulers for 3 different zip codes, use 9 or 12 haulers, but there's only 3 going down each zip code? You're helping your roads, you're paying less money to fix them, maybe they're not getting damaged as quickly. You're still not putting so many people out of business. A lot of the haulers right now only do a portion of Waterford. Each one will do a portion here. They don't go. I keep suggesting my hauler to people, and he'll ask me what zip code they're in. He says, I don't go to that zip code. Well, why put somebody out of business? Let's use them all. Let's split them up.
That's right.
That's it.
Lori Connors, I just want to clarify, I am not here for TNR, I'm here for Mr. Nichols. He provides service to several of us up there. It's not, he doesn't even know we're here doing his dirty work. But the man provides service. I had a friend who had foot surgery, and her husband left for work without putting the garbage out. He called and went and got the garbage cans out from behind the gate. I cut down a whole bunch of branches and stuff, was gonna haul them to the brush place. He picked them up in my yard. I get up there and it's like, who stole my branches? It's the kind of service he gives. Again, I really want to clarify that TNR is not the only good company we have. And as far as him taking new customers, he's maxed out because he gives such good service, he can't take any more customers than he already has. And when you call, the man answers the phone. If it's 7 o'clock in the morning, if it's 7 o'clock at night, the man answers the phone. And he doesn't charge extra to take leaves or an old chair. So there's a lot of them out there that are providing us with really good service.
Yes, sir.
Eric Bernicki, I'm on Sashville Road. I just lived in Troy for the last 20 years, came up here last year, and I was kind of appalled that Waterford doesn't recycle, because the way Troy does it is it's a city-paid waste disposal system, but they get money back for the recycling. So they provide the residents recycling bins, and a lot of people put more recycling than trash. And so they go through bidding processes, they determine which recycler, which hauler is going to take their garbage. And in the end, they fill the landfill with less garbage because of the recycling. And they actually probably get a lot of money back for the landfill that they're filling. So it's 2 things in once. They get a lot of people doing recycling that hadn't been doing it, because it just happened, started doing that 5 years ago or so. And it took a little process to get into the recycling motion. But once they did it, most people had way more recycling than garbage. And talking to my hauler, he was saying the landfills around this area in Oakland County are just overfilling, and they're charging way too high rates. And so that's why some of the cheaper haulers are going out to Holly or Flint or somewhere, and that's how they're getting cheaper rates. So I'm just offering another solution.
Thank you. Anybody else? Okay. First off, thank you everybody who's very courteous and very polite tonight. It just said there was no hooting and hollering and heckling, and I appreciate that. When a big crowd, that's necessitated, and it worked out very well. So again, thank you for being courteous. Thank you for letting everybody speak. I appreciate that.
So I'll make a motion to go into closed session to discuss confidential attorney-client privilege opinion regarding T-Mobile water tower lease renewal.
Any further discussion on that? Okay, roll call vote.
Barnlett.
Yes.
Camilleri. Yes. Braska.
Yes.
Wall.
Yes.
Jolliet.
Yes.
Thomas. Further, a motion to go into closed session to discuss confidential attorney-client privilege opinion regarding closed sessions.
I'll support.
Any further discussion on that? Okay, this is also a roll call vote.
Wall.
Yes.
Barnlett. Jolliet.
Yes.
Braska. Yes. Thomas. Yes. Camilleri. Yes. Will we be voting on any of these of that? So,
When we come back, we'll close out the board meeting. We will not be voting on either subject.
Great Lakes Family Restaurant there on the old Big Boy, just east of airport on 59.
But doesn't help.
Okay, we are back in closed session at 8:17. Okay,
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
support. Any further discussion on that subject? All in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed? Adjourned.
Tony, did you second that, Tony?
Yes. You seconded it.
I said that it's one unanimous vote every time.